How good was it to see the turnovers translate? You've seen a lot in practice, and you get to see them in the game.
Yeah, it was great. We said it at halftime too. We didn't have any. We had some strip attempts, but to see those guys right out of the box, get a couple, and really could have had another one with Brandon Wilson just off his fingertips. So it was good to see.
They didn't have a run over 7, pass over 8. That's been fast.
Yeah. Again, I thought they all played hard. If you get turnovers and eliminate explosive plays in the pass game and run game, you're going to be successful more times than not. So we were pleased with that.
Trey just said one of the main goals for the defense is creating turnovers. From a coaching staff standpoint, have you guys implemented anything different in practice or changed anything to put a greater emphasis on that?
Well, we have. We did the same drills last year, and we've ramped it up even more this year. So, and then the guys have really followed through in practice, and we've been causing turnovers in practice. So, and as you saw the other night, it came through. So, yeah, we're doing circuits of that stuff all the time, and we always say you can't have strips if you don't have strip attempts. So they're always on. The guys trying to rip the ball out.
You added more depth and more versatility to the D line. Did you see that kind of on the back end of the roster translate immediately with different guys doing different things?
Yeah, a couple of guys flashed. I was pleased with the way they played. Again, it's super early and it's the first game, and there's a long way to go. But those guys did a nice job late in the game.
I realize that Hodge was against backups, but it's still pretty eye-opening the amount of pressure, the consistent pressure he's throwing.
They did a nice job. It's a long way off saying, but it's always nice to see. That's for sure.
That kind of thing that's an opportunity for the next to move up maybe a little bit to play a little earlier in the next game. Is that how you do something like that?
Yeah, I think it's always about competition, and we've been preaching that since they got here in training camp, and really even back in the spring. So the fact that, again, if his play continues and to do well, and he'll get the reps he deserves, but there's more to it than just 1 or 2 rushes. So we'll see.
There's a lot of these top 100 lists popping up, and Jesse Bates seems to be on most of it. What makes Bates such a good safety?
I think Jesse's unique traits are, he has great range. He can go get the ball. It's a little bit hard. It's been a little bit harder these last few years to find true free safety center field type guys. So I think that accompanied with his how well he's done tackling, especially last year, and how much better he did. So you put all those things together, and you got a pretty darn good safety. So anytime you can go get the ball, it's a positive.
How much flexibility does that give you when you have a guy who can cover so much range? How much flexibility does that give you with the rest of the formation?
Yeah, it makes it again. We're always looking for guys that can do a bunch of different things, and Jesse fits that mold to it too.
Lou, how much do you subscribe to the theory of all 3 levels of the defense being connected? And if you do, how much of that did you see on Saturday?
Yeah, it's imperative. Now, again, we had really tight game plan. We didn't expect to. The idea was it'll be all preseason. You say, go play. Not any so much game planning the opponent in giving them our base calls and let the guys go play. But there's communication from the back end to the linebackers to the front, and they all have to be intertwined. And if they're not, we always tell them if we're all wrong, we're all right. And even if they say something, as long as they all do it, it may not be exactly what we wanted, but as long as they're all on the same page, so it's critical to success.
How did Ossai grade out for you?
Yeah, he did well. Joe has shown what he's shown out on the practice field. So he was aggressive. He was relentless in his effort, and he has a knack for getting to the quarterback. So it's good to see.
With the side with Sam Blue and the kind of thing he was in, you were kind of lining up your defensive ends in different ways. Was that something you wanted to do heading into the offseason, or did you get the personnel and say, you can do more of that?
Yeah, I think we're still feeling all that out and to kind of put guys in different spots this is the time to do it. Again, you didn't have this last year, so we're kind of feeling, hey, this guy may be better here or there. And again, we're going to keep moving guys around all preseason just to see what they're best at.
What did you see from a sample? I know he's kind of advertised as the guy that can play the edge and inside. Was there anything that stood out? It looked like
he played solid. Again, I think for a young guy in his first game, a lot of things that he needs to improve on. But he showed some edge pressure. He also was inside some. But again, you know, his first snap probably didn't go the way he wanted it to against their ones, but he got better as the game went along. So, you know, he had his hand in his dirt. He looked up, and there was the greatest quarterback to ever play our game across from him. So he told me that was a little moment for him, is what he said. So.
How do you characterize his comfort level going inside and all that?
Yeah, I think so far so good. You know, and again, we'll keep force feeding him and see how he does with it.
And Joseph said on his sack, there's a game with him and Amani and Cam. How good was it to see a couple of young guys get 2 rookies in that group kind of pull off that game against the first team group?
Yeah, it was good. You know, Joseph's first sack, him and Trey kind of got him around the other side, and Joseph had an up and under move and was able to get Warfs off him, which, you know, that's a good guy to get off you because he's one of the better tackles in our league. So it's encouraging for sure.
There's no bigger technique of importance than tackling, obviously.
Yeah.
And what did you see? It looked like you guys got off to a great start in that regard for series. What did you see overall?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think generally speaking, because we don't do a lot of tackling in camp anymore, it's just not the way the league is set up. Generally speaking, the tackling's not great early in preseason. And then by the end of it, it's usually better. And by the first game, you hope you're cooking on all cylinders. But I thought we tackled well for the first game. We had some later in the game that was not great angles to the ball. We do circuits like we do in turnovers or takeaway circuits. So they took that, the practice stuff, and did, I thought, pretty well during the game. So I was pleased.
Marcus Bailey, got your first chance to really see him and spend on defense there. What did you think of him, not just in this game, but really as he's kind of developed over the course of this game?
I thought, you know, again, first game back out, you know, he had his ups and downs. But I thought all of the linebackers, in my opinion, had Coach Golden does a great job with those guys, as all our coaches do. But I thought that those guys as a whole played well. And I thought Marcus, again, had a couple things he could have done different. But overall did a solid job.
How much did you get a sense from him last year that he was going to take more time to get totally confident in his injuries and feeling 100% out there versus maybe where he's at now?
You know, I think you'd ask any ACL guy the following year, they're so much better than the initial year. But he doesn't even mention it. So you know, we don't even ask, you know, hey, how's your knee? That never comes up. So it's like he's moved on, and now it's just football. So he's doing good.
What did you like about Joe Batchy in this first game with you guys?
Joe, again, as I mentioned, that group was good. They were active, getting their hands on footballs and causing turnovers. You know, the ball popped up in the air. Joe was kind of looking around, him and Jalen Davis, who had a good game as well. But I thought he did well. He was both in the pass game and in the run game, so I was happy with him.
How much of your playbook do you use in the preseason? I mean, everybody talks about the offense, or the offense keeps going for the best. How much are you use like 20%? 30%?
I would say if you go to a diner back in New York, and there's
Why New York?
because that's where the best diners are. There's pages and pages, right? And then they hand the little kids menu to the kids. We're a little more on the kids menu side.
So we haven't seen that. So we haven't seen the best.
I'm not going to tell you. No, we're just. The emphasis is for the guys to execute our base defense, run, get off blocks, tackle, and do it fast. And that's what I want them to do. I don't want them right now to be thinking about. We have a few things in for each game plan specific, but not nearly on the level that we will for a normal game.
Were there any 400 level moments on Saturday?
No, I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I think everything was in the 100, 200 level courses. So, but no, they handled all the situations well. The guys did, and I was pleased on how they performed.
What's the best thing you've ever eaten as a diner?
One more time.
What's the best thing you've ever eaten as a diner?
I get myself in trouble. So it's late night.
Usually.
He was a young kid. Late night, standard Staten Island, French fries, brown gravy, and what's it at? If you haven't had that at 3 in the morning, you haven't lived. My
You ever been
opinion.
to Moody? You ever been to Moody's Diner?
I have not. Where's that?
Google
Okay, I will.
What was the most encouraging thing you saw on Saturday?
Again, I think we've said to them, to the players, physicality, physicality, physicality. And it started, I think, again, it's one game, but the 29 yards rushing, the first play of the game, Vaughn tackles one of the, Leonard Fournette in the flat for no gain. And, I just think that showed up, and that has to be the standard as we go forward.
Coach, you reversed some sack run. Few sacks last year. You had 4. The run game, you were stingy. I know numbers, it's the preseason over and all that, but you had to just look at the stat sheet.
It was a good outing. Again, I if it was the other way, we'd all be pissed that it wasn't good. So I'm happy with the way it went. Again, that's got to be more the standard than the other way. So.
Moving past the game and kind of looking at practice, how have you noticed the offense change over the past week? Have they gotten into more of a rhythm? Have you noticed the difference?
Yeah, I think I'm just looking at it from on film as we watch tape. You can see Joe really settling in, and the ball is zinging out of his hand. And T went up yesterday to go get a ball in practice, and Jamar double move. You can see Joe's running with the ball. There's our running game is I think we're an overall more physical team in my opinion across the board. So I could just see their level of confidence kicking up.
How valuable is that for your guys?
Oh, best defense is sitting on the bench, and the run game, being physical, and that's huge. And I know we're all preaching the same thing, so it's great.
You added Trey Lance last year. This year it's a very different secondary. Are you planning to use him this year the same way you were going to use him last year? Is it different because of the different personnel?
No, it'd be the same role. Just go out there and be the same guy every day, and be consistent. Again, don't have the big ups and downs. And I think we've got 2 guys that can do that. Cheeto, and I think he's had an outstanding camp. That was Antonio Brown running down the sideline. One of the more dangerous guys that you'll face, and he handled that well. So I'm pleased with both of them, and I think Trey will be right in line with what we had from scheme standpoint last year.
Lou, how much have you already started looking at some Viking stuff?
Oh yeah, back in the spring. You're always leading up to the first couple games, and what did they do the other day? So yeah, we don't wait till game week. We've already started that, a long time ago. So yeah, I kind of just keep nipping away at it each day, to be honest.
Every day.
Yeah, just take a portion of the day, and hey, this is coffee and the Vikings, and go from there.
Is that why that game, the regular season opener, is most unique? Because it's the one game where you actually can do that all.
Well, it is, but there's also unknowns to it. They're going to have things that that they're not going to show in preseason. That are, they do all their off-season studies on themselves and do all these self-scouts and say, all right, hey, this was good for us last year, but if we do this, it would be better. So the different variations off of it that we won't be or will not have seen or scouted on tape. That's every week, but more so in the first game because it could be something totally different. We always say, we're going to really nail the things we know that they're going to do. We got to nail. Hey, they run out-breaking routes on 2nd and 10. I'm just making that up. We got to know that, and we can't let them do it. They run the inside zone. We got to stop that play. So nail the things they know, and then, oh, by the way, whatever's different, our rules and our defense handle it. So if they come out with something we've never seen, that's why you have rules that the guys can fall back to and play out. And that's why this training camp is so important, and that's why this base stuff is so important in these games, because there'll be some things that we may not have covered. But all right, if I'm supposed to cover number 2, and he was in the backfield, now he's over there, I know, well, 1, 2, go cover him. So things like that. So that's how we always approach it. But there's always different variables in the first game.
What do you want to see Friday night? What do you want to see Friday night on that?
Yeah, same effort, same energy. All of that. Turnovers again starts with stopping the run. Same energy we had. And kind of go from there.
Is there anything you want to improve?
Again, you can always pick one or two things, I think if we had to say one thing, it would be just some of the fits that we had both in the run and the pass later in the game. But other than that, just same energy, same effort.
With your 3 starting cornerbacks and the fact that they weren't all on the same field together last year, what are some of the signs that you're seeing in practice that show you that they're playing with the cohesion that you need them to be?
Yeah, good question. They came in to they were all there on a visit together. Trey was in and out that day, but they kind of clicked right away, a little text string going to stay in touch through the spring and through the off season. So they've kind of gotten to know each other pretty good right away and stayed in touch throughout the summer and the off time. And they're always hanging out together. So I think that's important, where you're starting that way, where everybody is feeding off each other. But they've handled that well so far.
How full or empty is the loaf chart this morning?
I have no idea. No, they're doing okay. There's always room for improvement there, but it's good.